welcome to the MMMUSD Education Podcast, where we explore, share, challenge, and search out innovations in education starting right here in our own backyard of Vermont. Welcome to the MMMUSD Education Podcast. If you haven't already, make sure you sign up for our updates at our blog or follow us on Twitter, Google+, SoundCloud, Stitcher, and iTunes. If you have a show idea or would like to produce a segment, let us know. In today's world of education, we all recognize the importance of supporting new teachers through celebration and guidance. Every year, we gather to do exactly that. After a year of well-planned mentorship, new teachers, mentors, and administrators gather to hear about the journey our newest teachers have taken and where they want to go next.
And I want to thank everybody for all the work they've done this year. The beginning teachers, the mentors, you work hard, both of you, and it really helps our beginning teachers stay in the profession and are supported. And enjoy the evening.
This is the Colloquium, which is when we celebrate the professional growth of our beginning teachers who have worked with a mentor for either 1 or 2 years, and they share their growth based on the evidence that they collected through that work with their mentor.
So Elizabeth Rainville, this is her second year as our preschool teacher at Richmond. Yeah.
So tonight I decided to focus on our annual goal. My coworker and I, we focused on literacy development in the preschool. Just kind of over the last few years, there's been a lot of talk about in debates over more academic preschools and play-based preschools, and at RES we really pride ourselves on being completely play-based, and so we were kind of talking.
Please excuse the noise. There's a lot of new teachers in the room excited to share their learning from the year.
I'm sorry, please.
So at the beginning of the year, my coworker and I, we kind of talked about what we wanted to focus on for the year, and going off the academics, we've kind of seen, literacy as a whole kind of trickle down through the grades. We decided to focus on literacy in the preschool and how we could kind of work on that and still remain play-based, not be completely academic. So at the beginning of the year, we did some research because we do literacy development through, we'll read them stories, or we'll, if they ask us about a certain word or something, we'll, obviously we go with that, but how can we make it a little bit more? And so we decided to kind of focus on vocabulary growth and introducing kids to grown-up words. And there was one article that we had read at the beginning of the year, and it was talking about how there were 2 researchers who had done a study on the language development of kids from different backgrounds and how their home setting, their home environment can really affect their language development. And they found actually that children from diverse backgrounds, their language all developed at the same time, but what made the biggest difference was how much the children were talked to and how much they were a part of discussions and whether or not parents or families read them stories. And one of the staggering numbers that we found was that at 3 years old, a child could have heard 32 million words less than a peer who was not. And so that for us, we were like, okay, we have to focus on vocabulary.
You have to picture a space full of new educators excited to share their learning, from preschool educators all the way up to high school, all in the same place, sharing with each other. Very powerful.
Or an experiment, something that they would get their hands, their hands dirty.
And this wasn't only classroom teachers. This was special educators, music teachers, art teachers,
Some of the major
PE
goals
teachers.
that I worked on this year revolved around me collaborating with classroom teachers and being really proactive in the way that I work with my students and collaborate with those teachers. So compiled some evidence on some stuff that I did working with classroom teachers that teachers of classes that students on my caseload were in. And the idea was to be able to modify and accommodate work beforehand so that they were able to participate with the rest of the general ed classroom in real time, as opposed to taking them out and accommodating things and having them in my room, which we do a lot of, but and we've seen results with that, but I had told Linda that I wanted to make it a goal of mine to be able to see those same results while keeping kids in the same room. So the first piece of evidence that I brought, I created side-by-side parallel texts of short stories that 9th grade English classes were teaching this past fall. This is The Telltale Heart, and I don't know if you've ever seen parallel texts of Shakespeare plays and stuff like that, but it kind of has a translation to the right of it. And so I did that to all of the short stories that the 9th grade English has in the curriculum, just in order to be able to have not even just my students, but any students on IEPs or 504 plans in 9th grade English be able to be in the class, following along, and when they get lost, they kind of have this support to the right to be able to help them stay in the classroom. And we had an entire short story unit, and within the short story unit we had a more specific unit on Edgar Allan Poe, and we were going to break students up into groups and give them a designated short story, and kind of with the idea of letting our high-flying students take on the most difficult short stories, and likewise have the most challenged students take on the more basic and straightforward stories. So my goal with this was to be able to make them all kind of even, so that we were able to have heterogeneous groups, reading groups, and so that was a big success. And the best part about it is that these are going to live on and be with the 9th grade English teachers in their curriculum for as long as they teach them. So just more stories. This is developed by Ray Bradbury.
Every year we have this event, and every year we hear amazing stories of professional growth and see genuine passion for teaching and learning. Supporting and celebrating all teachers is important, but particularly so for those first few years. This is one simple example of this at its finest. To all our mentors and mentees, thank you. Thank you for your passion, your energy, your dedication to our scholars. And to you, thank you for listening.